a pain that can be there chronically, meaning that it just does not go away.
I'm Aaron Michael, and this is Cervical Tales, stories of the everyday woman.
When I first came across this story, it moved me to tears. I'm going to share it with you in just a second. But before I start, I want you to get some backdrop. There is a thing called vestibulodynia. Now, some of you might know what that is, and a lot of you probably likely do not. But this is in general a pain at the entrance to the vagina. And in general, there is no real understanding why it's there. There isn't really a cure for it. There isn't really a solution for it. And frankly, a lot of times women are told this is just in your head. Now, many women can experience sex that feels good internally, but then starts to feel like an irritation on the outside towards the entrance that they kind of bear through as sex goes longer than they want it to. And that typically at that point, they're just trying to get the guy to speed up and be done. This is a little bit more than that. This is a pain that can be there chronically, meaning that it just does not go away. It can be triggered and not just through sex. It could be just by simply wearing pants or jeans specifically. If you start to look and go into groups that have women that suffer from this, they typically will band together because they lose their marriages. They literally can just have intense amounts of pain that will go on for days, if not weeks, if not longer. And it can absolutely drive one insane. So I had a woman that came to me and she had been suffering from this for years. I don't even remember how she came across my work, but in just a few phone sessions, I gave her the tools to be able to start to work with herself. We never met in person. This was only over a phone call. I believe it was WhatsApp. It wasn't even a video call. And so I was just taking her through some different practices, showing her some pictures and giving her an understanding of anatomy. So at that time, I had named this way of interacting with one's body the imperial session. And the reason why I called it that is because there is a royalty, a regality that exists inside yourself. And to step into touch with it, it then brings a different way of holding your body. There is a different way of moving through the world, and it commands a different respect without demanding it. But others just orient to you differently because you have come into touch with this royal self that is alive and living inside you, if only you would simply awaken it and come into touch with it and then allow it to live in the world. So I get this message. Aaron, it's 1 a.m. my time. I have often been told that I am a fast learner and a great student. Apparently this must be true because 2 hours ago I began the breathing practices. Then I moved into vaginal dearmoring. I noticed a significant reduction in pain compared to the first 2 sessions of dearmoring that I had given myself. I felt very encouraged to move forward and try the imperial session. So she had been working externally and now she was starting to work deeper towards and around the cervix. It took about an hour, and again, this is different for each person. Some it's much less, some it might be longer. When I felt the urge to pee, I did, drank water, and continued. I almost gave up, but I stuck with it, and holy mother, balls, holy, oh my God, is this what I've been missing out on? It was exactly as you described. At first it was gritty and white, but once I went over the edge, I began squirting so much that I completely soaked the sheets like puddles. What she's speaking about is as the body starts to excrete fluids, there can be, remember, the tissues are like a sponge, and so she had a lot of I don't know what it was, frankly. I mean, like, I haven't heard this scientifically explained, but some people describe it as a PSA. There's this creaminess that comes out of the urethral glands, and then, or the periurethral glands, and it can have this kind of milky whiteness to it. Now, for those that have just had a lot of stagnant energy or pain in this area, when it first comes out, it's almost has a gritty kind of sand-like feeling to it. And it can be even for like leaning towards a color of brown or darkish red, sort of like old stagnant blood that hasn't moved. And then it just becomes clearer and clearer. So anyways, and typically when ejaculation happens, this is clearing out all of those periurethral ducts. And then what can feel like pain starts to flush out into a lot of pleasure. So when I first started, the emotions that arose were sadness and anger. I just let myself release without judgment. Then the emotions turned to relief, laughter, and happiness, and I released over and over and over. What an amazing healing experience that has melted away my lingering feelings of inadequacy and brokenness. Thank you so much for the phone session. Your openness and comfort level and encouragement pushed me to this point and gave me the confidence I was lacking to allow myself to let go. Sorry for all the coursing, but holy mother, LMAO. She continues, however. This is a huge triumph. I would like to further explain why it's huge for me. I'm a major influencer in a private Facebook group with over 100 women who have vestibulodynia. We are a tight group of women who love and support each other. Many of them, like me, have had vestibulectomies. It's harder to pronounce than it is to resolve it. Many of them have failed marriages because of it, but all of us keep pushing and encouraging each other to keep going and searching for healing. Sadly, we have lost a few to suicide, and just about all of us have teetered on the edge of suicide in the deepest depths of our most painful moments. So I will be sharing your information and linking to your site to our support group page, and we'll be telling them that we are not broken. I will tell them of this monumental moment for me. So yes, absolutely, please share my message and use my name, Lacey. Well, it is such a beautiful story because Lacey's story continues further. And she's allowed me to share this, and I just want to speak about what has happened since then. She then returned after 7 years after her first marriage and divorce because of this extreme pain, not being able to wear jeans, not being able to ride a bicycle, and definitely not being able to have sex or ride a man. She then started to date again, started to partner up again, has entered into a relationship, and contacted me that she started to have her first cervical orgasms, started to have more pleasure than she'd ever had before, was able to find complete and free movement with this guy that she had never been able to in years to have sex. She always just had to bear through sex and then eventually completely give up on it. At first, it started with her telling him how to move with her body, allowing her to warm herself up. And then eventually, that need for having that kind of like long warm up began to decrease and became less. And then when she would warm herself up, she would be able to find this movement and go into these deep states of eroticism that were, she described full ejaculations, this opening of her heart, this activation of her womb. And then eventually, as she started to access this more and more, she then started to attract success in her life that was very different than she had before. It was an interesting thing to notice how from the bedroom to the boardroom, from her intimate life to her extroverted life, From her inner life to her interpersonal and relational life, they were so tied and related. And she started to recognize the queen for who she was and the power that she had. And as she stepped further into that, through this practice of reclaiming her inner space, reclaiming her cervix and her womb, reclaiming the entrance to her temple gates, the rest of the world opened up its magic and started to treat her for the queen she is. And that same opportunity lies waiting for you. Will you step in?